we have a good time, but eventually someone ends up falling in love. Don't go, just let yourself go. Okay, hello. This is exciting. Welcome to my brand new show. This is ZacharyTunes, and I'm your host, Zach. As you can tell by the name Tunes, we're going to be heading into the world of music. I have absolutely no idea anything what I'm doing to do with the world of music at all. However, all I know is that I love it. I genuinely cannot do anything without music. At any point, if there's like a break of maybe 3 minutes that I can cram a song into, I will do it. I can't get out of bed in the morning unless I put Spotify on. The first thing I'll do to make myself get up out of bed, if I'm procrastinating, if I'm being lazy, or if I need to do something, or if I need to go somewhere, if I need to walk, if I need to... anything, is go onto Spotify, put on music. First thing I'll do. Spotify hit me up, actually, because that would be awesome. Besides the point. Anyway, the idea here is I'm going to be journeying through two separate sides. So, by myself, my plan is to head through the Rolling Stones top 500 albums. And I'm going to work from the bottom, number 500, which is what we're going to be doing today, all the way to number 1. I haven't looked at the list, so I don't know what I'm going to find as I go through, which is going to be exciting. I'm also going to be doing live streams where I listen to them live, and you can hop in and listen with me, and we can talk about it there. And I'm listening to them, and I want to digest them, and I'm going to come here and give my opinion that nobody asked about. However, I'm going to do it anyway, because I would like to. I've started with this, number 500, and I gotta say, I was pleasantly surprised. Like, don't get me wrong, I know that it's top 500 albums. And there's a lot more albums than that, so I should expect that they're going to be good. However, I didn't expect it to be my cup of tea. And in general, it's not. However, I was pleasantly surprised. And I will let you find out more about that shortly. The other side, which I never even explained, what I plan to do is I want to then go down the idea of exploring genres. A lot of the time, people will talk to me and be like, "Oh," especially recently, because side note, I've been trying to make some music because I love it so much. But people ask me, and then people will say to me, "Oh, what kind of genres do you like, or what kind of genre is this song?" I don't know. I could not tell you. I have absolutely no idea any genre, and this is the thing, is like I understand genres to a degree. That's a lie. I don't. But like, if you say a genre to me, I'll have heard of it. I'll know the genre. But like, it won't mean anything to me listening to something. Like, I won't put the two together unless it's something like distinct, like, I don't know, jazz, for example. But even then, there's like, what, jazz, and like there's swing, or are they the same thing, or what? I don't know. So that's where the other side of this is going to go, and try and learn a bit more about the distinctions between genres, and the birth of some of the genres, and like the history of them, and some of the cultural meaning behind it, all sorts of things. So that is my idea for this podcast. I'm calling it a podcast, a show, whatever it may be, whatever it divulges into. But I think it's an interesting premise. Alongside this, it's me. I can't do anything like this without something silly and goofy in it. So more than likely, I'll be having sub segments where I'll have like questions from you guys, or I'll have guests on, and we'll play games, and we'll do whatever, and it's me. I ramble, and I will chat the absolute most shite that you can ever possibly imagine. So there will be all sorts of things to look in and around for, and I hope that it's entertaining for you guys. I hope that somebody out there enjoys my journey through these things. If you hear some really loud vehicles outside my window, you know, it is what it is. I am on the most botched setup right now you can ever imagine. I've got a USB microphone hanging from a stand that's like precariously stood there. My phone is my camera, which plugged in with the USB mic. I mean, I've made the back wall look pretty roughly about 20 minutes ago now. So we're working, all right? And you got to start somewhere. So this is where we started. If you do find this interesting or any sort of fun at all, please feel free to drop a like, comment, subscribe, wherever this goes, whatever this is on. Helps a lot, lets me know that, you know, it's worth doing. I'm going to do it anyway. Nobody asked me to start this, so I'm going to do it anyway. But it's nice to know if anyone's enjoying it, you know what I mean? So yeah, without further ado, let's get into the album. Because this album, I gotta say, it surprised me. And I've taken notes. I've been diligent. I've done my work. So let me get to my notes here about this album. It was an interesting one because I never really look into albums or anything, to be honest. Thinking about it, I don't really think much at all. Which, look, I'm trying to fix it, all right? But we'll get there slowly. That's the point of this podcast. Okay. So number 500 on the Rolling Stones list is called "Funeral" by Arcade Fire. Okay, they're a Canadian indie rock band from Montreal, Quebec, which I know. There's one Canadian band I know, and that's Rush, and that's because my dad's into them, and that's it. Somehow, that's the only link I have to anything Canadian. Otherwise, I have no idea about anything. I had never heard of these guys before, and after doing a very short amount of research, I realised that they're quite a big deal. They're everywhere. Pretty sure they won a Grammy. They got nominated for multiple Grammys. Not that awards really mean anything in general, but like, you know, they do, I suppose, because everyone recognizes that they mean something. However, I was watching another podcast actually. Whose podcast was it? It's Family Ties. Actually, it was Family Ties. Toby, Manny, and Jed, and they had JME on, and Jamie went on a rant about a rant's strong. He went on a rant about how awards are essentially just 10 people in a room who have made the decision about who gets that award. It's not really about the big grand scheme of things. It's just those 10 people thought yours deserved it. And I very much agree with that. Like if you just make up an award and then give it to somebody big, and then people go, "Oh, that means something." Now this award suddenly holds weight, and people want it, and if they don't get it, they feel bad about it. Load of nonsense. However, in society standards and all this kind of stuff, a Grammy's a big deal, and they have at least one of them, and they've been nominated for multiple of them. So, fair play to them. They released an album this year, so they're still going. The one that I'm looking at, Arcade Fire, Funeral. Funeral was released in 2003. I want to say 2003, 2004. 2003 in Canada, 2004 in UK, I think. And they're still going to that's some longevity. That's 20 odd years there. That's some good work. 2 decades, you know, like that's, to be honest, it is close enough to about how long I've been alive when you think about it. So fair play to them. In general, they use a wide range of instruments throughout their stuff, which, that's another point. I'm going to link the whole album down below, or I don't know how I'm going to do that. I'm going to figure out something to link or blah, blah, blah. But I would suggest taking a break whenever I get to a certain song, maybe go listen to the song, and come back. I know it depends on the viewer. Some of you would like to go and know what I'm talking about and listen to the music as I'm talking about it. Some of you wouldn't do that. I wouldn't go off and click to another thing. However, you might. Let's do it together. Either way, these songs I'm going to go through now as well, actually. I'm just going to cut that out. But I'll tell you when I'm going to what song. I would suggest listening to the song so you know what I'm going on about. And I got to tell you, they are, in general, the whole album, it's not bad. Is where I'll give it. I'll give it a straight away. I'll give it a level of not bad, and you'll see where I go through with the rest of the album. And by not bad, I mean it's actually really good. But bear with me. Okay. Okay, so it was called Funeral due to the fact that at the time a bunch of the family members of the bandmates were sort of kicking the bucket. Very graciously put by me there. Apologies to the family members and whatnot. But the album itself follows through a journey of sort of loss and love and life and that sort of idea. And it does it really well. It does it really well. There's 4 songs at the start which are all called Neighborhood. Like, so there's Neighborhood 1, something. Neighborhood 2. Let me actually get the names up. That'd be better, wouldn't it? Neighborhood 1, Tunnels. Neighborhood 2, Laika, which also I had to Google her, and I'll talk about that in a minute. Then we've got Neighborhood 3, Power Out, and Neighborhood 4, 7 Kettles. And these 4 songs are all sort of one story, which are based on a town with a power outage during there was an ice storm in 1998, I want to say, in North America. Again, history, North America, anything America, Canada, I have no idea. So it was interesting for me to sort of get a point of view of like somebody who grew up in an ice, like they had a small town in an ice storm. That is a perspective that I would struggle to ever see in the lives that I've led, you know. So that was very interesting for me. The production of this album was estimated to cost $10,000. Was nominated for a Grammy. And most importantly of all, apparently this was very, very impactful for the genre. Again, this is where I need to learn more about genres, but the genre of like indie rock and that kind of stuff, where it was somewhat undergroundy at the time, made it more of a mainstream thing. Also, it being released around 2003, 2004 time, we've got to remember that this is just after the Towers. This is around the start of Afghanistan and Iraq, those two wars, and in some of these songs, I'm not sure if I'm reaching here, but obviously music's about interpretation, but I could see some sort of not quite references, but some like draw towards wars and like their views of wars and the sadness and melancholy that you get from wars and losing loved ones to it and etc., which obviously plays into the themes of loss and love and life and whatnot. So, without further ado, I think we should head off into maybe one of the songs, shall we? We'll head into Neighborhood 1, Tunnels. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to listen to the song. I don't know how copyright works. I don't know how many things work, but I don't know how copyright works. So I'm gonna listen to this myself and cut it out. Like I said, I'm gonna put everything in the description so you can go and listen to the songs and then come back, or you can listen to me ramble on and listen to all the songs afterwards, or you can listen to all the songs and then listen to me ramble after that. Like I said, whatever you like, whatever works for you, do that. I'm now gonna go and listen to the first song again, get myself refreshed, and then I'll continue talking about that. Okay, so I've just listened to Neighborhood 1, Tunnels, aptly named Tunnels, because he talks about digging tunnels between the houses, obviously talking about the snow and whatnot. It's a fantastic start to the album. It's one thing this album does very well is the start and the end, and we're going to get to the end later, obviously. But the start of this album, it comes in hard and strong with this song. There's instruments in there which I'm not sure in a lot of these songs, which I'm not sure what they are. I would love to have a greater depth of knowledge of what musical instruments they're using, but they're known for using many. But they just come together so well, and this first song, it really builds up from the start, the start into the middle part, and then towards the end, the music really builds up along with the vocals, and so there's two main singers for this band, and if I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure they're both the co-creators and the husband and wife, which I thought was really cool. Imagine having a band with your wife. That's awesome. But yeah, so the main singer for most of them is the husband. Strong song to start off with. Music really builds up, and he just, like, his vocals, there's something about his vocals, it's very, very passionate. He really, like, you feel something. It might not be what he feels, but you feel something. Or at least I definitely do. And I like that. The fact that straight off the rip, off the start of the album, they're already making you feel what they want you to feel. They're already making you part of the album, which I think is not only important but impressive. From a musical standpoint, the little I know of it, I love his voice. His voice is incredible. The music blends perfectly together. He doesn't overpower the music. There is a siren going past right now. There's so many sirens in Sevilla. I don't know what it is. I don't know. I don't see many like accents or whatever. But there's always sirens going off. Always, at all times. Like, no matter what I do. Especially if I'm recording. If I'm recording something, it's like the police know about it. I suppose at least they're not coming here. So, that's good, I guess. Can't complain about everything, eh? Yeah. I'm a fan of the lyrics, the way they phrase that. I don't know how to quite explain it. It's like it's got that very rocky feel to the lyrics. I often feel that rock lyrics often feel almost nonsensical at points, but still somehow get their story across. And this does that. Big fan of the way it comes across, and especially at the end, the vocalization, the ooh, that with the that as like you're finishing off into the okay, it's a great first song to kick off with, and I think this album has reminded me of the importance that an album is a project. An album is a whole project. Like you can have an album that's like what are those things with poems in it called? An anthology, where it's just like different poems or whatever, and they've got nothing to do with each other. Fine. However, an album like this, where it's a project, to have a good start and a good finish, this just reminds me quite how important it is, and they do it very well. And I think that's one of the reasons that I am so impressed and enjoy this album so much. I've got a blanket underneath me right now, and it's making my ass sweat. Not that you needed to know that, but yeah, that is what it's doing. So, to be honest, you can't not sweat here. I'm in Sevilla, and it is constantly, unbearably warm. And it's not like I can have the AC on right now, because it will just sound shit into the microphone. So I'm trying to thug out the heat here. But we'll see how that ends up. Maybe I have to take a break and put the AC on for a bit. Anyway, let's move into the second song. The second song's Neighborhood 2 by Laika. By Laika? Neighborhood 2, brackets, Laika, is what I meant to say. Now, Laika, I had to do some researching because so one of the lyrics is, our mother should have named you Laika. And I had no idea who Laika was. And I was like, that's an odd, specific name. I was like, I'm sure there's something behind that. Did a little Google. And it's the dog that Russia sent to be either the first animal, the first dog in orbit over the Earth. I think it's the first animal. Not sure. But essentially they went on the street, found a dog, Laika, trained her up, stuck on a rocket, slinged her into space. And it was always a one-way mission. They never had any intention of bringing her down. I think she lasted a couple of hours up there and then pegged it. Which, that opens a whole other ethical debate on morality and advancement of science and whatnot. And that is an interesting thing that maybe I will go into slightly, just very, very short, very, very short digression here. I often think about this in the sense that we are so engaged with ethics that we don't make as much scientific progress as we could. However, the older I've got, the more I've realised that that is a necessary thing. I feel like if we lose our ethical values to forward ourselves, I think there's an issue there with humanity in general. And to be honest, we probably see it as it is. But specifically with space exploration, for example, animals, I think that's a bit rough chucking them up there. However, if there was a program for volunteers to just get slung up to Mars or the moon, for example, and try and live out there, like to essentially establish a colony, however it may be, I think that would be interesting. I would sign up for that. I would happily go on a one-way mission. If you said to me right now, hey, want to go to Mars, one-way mission, yeah, go on then. Come on, you'd technically be the first. I mean, theoretically, the first Martian if there's not already been things living there. We don't know, but I'm not getting into that. Anyway, let me get back to the music. I said it was going to be a short digression, but if I go that way, I will talk about that for a long, long time. And I'm debating it, but I won't. I'll stay on topic, and I'll go into Laika, and I'll give it a listen here. Okay, so with Neighborhood 2 Laika, this is one of the songs that I thought maybe is sort of looking towards the idea of the wars that had been started around that time, in the sense that this goes on about how our mother should have just named you Laika, Laika being this almost sacrificial, well, I was going to say lamb, sacrificial dog, for the betterment of well, the Soviet Union slash mankind, and maybe it's pointing towards the idea of saying, like, soldiers that are going over there and fighting and dying and whatnot, are essentially, the way the government sees them is the same way the government saw the dog. You know, as they just chuck it out there and it's a one-way mission, and they don't expect it to come back. Could easily be a reach, but that's the way I perceive it, and I think the way that they sing it, there's such a passion. There's always a pain in the way he sings it. Like, it's a lot of these songs, they feel almost as if they're upbeat, but somehow they're painful. There's a lot of pain carried in the voice, and I like that a lot. Not that they're in pain, obviously, but I like the way they convey it. Also, the music, again, the whole way through this album, the music's fantastic. The bass in this song, specifically, I'm a big fan of. It really carries the song, and yeah, good solid tune, especially straight after the first. The 1-2, fantastic start to the album. I am gonna sneeze. So, I'm gonna hope that you bless me. I'm not even gonna bless myself. I'm gonna hope that you bless me. And if you didn't, suck your mum. No, just no. Actually, yeah, no, suck your mum. So yeah, let's head into the third song. After that, we'll try and keep these a bit more brief, because otherwise I will ramble about absolutely nothing. I'll ramble about the same things over and over again. So we'll move between songs, especially the fact that what I found somehow between a lot of these songs, the music feels almost similar, but obviously isn't the same, which I suppose is what a genre is. So that might seem stupid to say, but as I said, I know nothing about music, so it's interesting seeing and noting how music can really be very similar yet not, or be almost exactly the same yet carry different. It's very interesting, and I like it a lot. They do it very well. So let's head on to number 3, and the third song is called Un'an sans Lumiere. Can't speak French, my bad. Speak a little bit of Spanish, but no French, unfortunately. Obviously, them being Canadian, I forgot there for a little while that Canada has very French-speaking roots as well. But that title means a year without light. Again, is based around the loss of family members and stuff like that. This one it also feels, this one for me feels like a love song. It's very centered around a lady and a couple in love. It's the first one that you hear the female vocals in, I believe, the woman's vocals in. You know what I mean? Okay, so with Un'an sans Lumiere, we have, again, it's the husband singing, but I think this is the first song that we hear the wife's vocals in, and again, it makes sense that they're both singing because they both have beautiful voices. This song, as I said, feels very much like a love song, I don't know if it's between the two of them. Maybe it does feel like that. But there's also this recurring character like of the old man, like your old man being like your dad or whoever. Who I think that it feels like they're losing him. This feels some sort of sadness towards this old man. And it's almost a cute love story between these two, but the song itself feels sad. It's a very somber tone to the song. I mean, the title itself is A Year Without Light. It clearly isn't the happiest of times, you know? Which, again, I like contradicting between the idea of it being a love song, it being about love, but it being sad, it being melancholic, which love often is. And I like that. I like that a lot. With this as well, I don't know if this is a part of the genre, like indie rock or whatever other genre. There's a couple other genres they're described as indie rock, art rock, dance rock, and baroque pop. Don't know if it's part of any of those, but you get this sort of somber song for most of the song, and then towards the end it sort of ramps up and becomes a bit more cheery, a bit more vibey, a bit more upbeat. But I like the way that you get that break in the sense, but like you still sort of keep that melancholic feeling. It's well put together. And my other favourite part about this song is they've put it third in the album. Again, like I was saying about how albums are a story almost. Those 4 songs, the Neighbourhood group of songs, are at the start of the album, and they've placed this in the middle. And I quite like that it separates the songs. I like that it separates that the 4 songs that are one story. I think it was well placed to be put in the middle there. If you've got 4 in a row, you get the point that it's a story, whatever. But I like that they've sort of broke it up a little bit. I like that. So we'll move into song 4. Song 4 being Neighbourhood 3. Awesome. So I have no idea how this is going to come out, as this is the first time I'm doing it, obviously. If there is any ideas you have on how you'd like it structured, do you like how it would be better for you to take in, anything like that, let me know, and I will see what I can do to incorporate those ideas and whatnot. Okay, so let's give Neighbourhood 3 a little listen and remind ourselves where we are. Okay, we've sung number 4, Neighbourhood number 3, Power Out. We've got a much more. This gives me rock. This gives me a rock song. Gives me a rock on. No, my bad. It's a good song. It's a very good song. And it starts off very light. There's very light instruments. I'm pretty sure there's a xylophone or a glockenspiel or whatever you call it in there. Very dinky. And the rhythm and cadence of the way that he starts off singing, all of it is very cheeky. It's very young, and you can tell that he's singing through the experience of a child, of a young boy. And I like the way that he doesn't just say that he's a child. Everything sort of explains that he is. It explains that that's the case. But then later on, as you get into some more of the themes of the song, more of the themes of the album, the music gets a bit more tense, a bit more serious. I think this is one of the first ones that I've noticed it in, and I see it through a few more of them as they come along. There's a certain type of sound, I don't know what it is, I think it's like a scientific thing, but there's a certain type of sound that like induces panic in people, and they've got this sort of thing going on with the strings in this and some other songs that like in horror films, then they've got that like kind of thing. It's not like that, but it's that sort of. It makes you feel like suspense. It makes you feel like there's something going on that shouldn't be. There's something bad happening. And the music builds into serious, and then he starts talking about how what does he say there? And the power's out in the heart of man. And I think that is a beautiful. Again, this is where my knowledge of English is terrible. I don't know. That's a simile or a synonym or whatever the fuck it is. A cinnamon roll. It's a beautiful cinnamon roll. Saying essentially how like the whole neighborhood saga is about the power being out in this town, sure, but then saying that it's like people's hearts have been turned off. There's no more love in people anymore. They're not looking after each other. Everyone's turned to hatred, which again pushes me towards that narrative of the wars that are going on at that time, the towers being blown up, all the sort of grungy hatred, like the remnants of the leftovers of the Cold War and all that sort of nonsense. Is all sort of put into these feelings, and he goes from being this cheeky sort of flowy, short, sharp cadence to almost screaming, shouting. Later on in the song, again, very very rocky, very good music, beautiful. This is probably my second favorite song on the whole album. The favorites coming up, but this is a quality song. Neighborhood 3, Power Out. Right, let's head on to Neighborhood 4, Kettles. Give this a listen. Do I keep these in? Do I keep this in when I'm sat here with my headphones on so that you can listen to the music at the same time as me? Or would that just be empty space? It could be, but then you could just skip it, I guess. Anyway. Okay, so Neighborhood number 4. Again, it finishes with that sort of chaotic, like strings. I think it's a violin, like chaotic string moment that really sets you off. But it's almost, this one's somehow pretty. Not sure how to explain that, but it's chaotically pretty, and I like it. However, this song, I think, is probably the weakest song so far in the album. For me, I particularly just don't really care for it. It's not that it's bad, and it fits the themes. And what I do really like about it is it enters with a boiling kettle. It's like the whistle of the boiling kettle, and you hear that come back in part of the breakdown of the music. And it just blends. It blends perfectly into the music. You don't even notice it whittle out. It's sort of just, and they do that really well. I also like the amount of space they give verses to breathe. It's like they'll do a verse, play some music, and you listen to the music, and then they'll do a verse and they play some music. It's not all driven by the lyrics. It's not all. It's a good balance. But as for the song itself, I don't particularly care for it. Other than one line, actually, the end of the first paragraph was like, they say, "A watch pot will never boil. Well, I closed my eyes and nothing changed. Just some water getting hotter in the flames." But the way he sings it, the rhyme scheme, very good. Other than that, I could take it or leave it with this song in general. However, this song is then followed by my favourite of the album, Crown of Love. So I'm going to give that a listen. And I'm going to enjoy it. Ugh. Bar. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Come on. Not like you could. None of them had made. None of the rest of them made me have this reaction. Are you joking? That is a joke of a song. That is an absolute banger. Is, aye, aye. That, I tell you, the first time I listened to it, I put it in my playlist. Out of all these songs, like I can go through and I like the album. The album's a good album. The rest of the songs did not make it into my playlists. This, yeah, man. I look. Alright. Okay. This is what I mean, right? When, for me, I love music, and especially if there's one that gets in my head, bath. I'll listen and listen and listen and listen. Ooh, that's a good point. I'm gonna do that as a segment later, and I'll give you my latest hyper-fixation song. Anyway, I got off track. This, yeah, right off the get go, man. I'm trying not to use 80 billion swear words to express myself here, because this is, look, it goes off the rip. The first four lines, full of feeling, like they say it fades if you let it. Love was made to forget it. Are you okay? Ow, I'm hurting already. Cool. You pray for rain, I pray for blindness, because I carved your name across my eye. Yeah, man. And then he goes, I pray for blindness, and then the strings come in. They insert the meme of SpongeBob start levitating, or like I am the honored one, or whatever it is from Jujutsu Kaisen. Because my lord, that shit makes me levitate. Okay. Let me lock in. Let me chill out. This here, and you know what? You know what's crazy as well is I'm big on lyricism. So for example, when Pitbull rhymed Kodak with Kodak, that he gets away with it because he's Pitbull, but that annoys me, right? He rhymes me with me 6 times in very short succession, and I'm not mad about it. I'm not mad about it at all because it works. Oh, it's I've written here. This made me miss my ex-girlfriend. Which one, you ask? All of them. The vocals. He does this a lot, I notice, throughout the album, to be honest. He like his voice resembles an instrument. I mean, I know that voices are instruments. I know that they are another instrument for a thing. But it's so obvious with his. The same way the music builds up and gets higher and gets more excited, his voice does the same, and they all build so well together. It's marvelous. And when you start getting into the chorus again, I think it's the second time round, his wife starts coming in on the underneath in the back, and it's beautiful. It's beautiful. You get to the end, and the music switches up. It gets more fast paced. It changes up completely. However, the song's already slapped you in the face. You're still sad, but it gives that. Oh, it gives a little change. It gives a little pep at the end of it. This song for me, Crown of Love, best song on the album by a country mile. It is a splendid song. Like, I'm glad that I've started doing any of this purely for the fact that it's put me on one song off the rip. I've got 499 more albums to go. Are we joking? I'm excited because I'm gonna find some absolute bangers along the way, and I'm gonna make playlists as I go. Actually, that's an idea. I'm gonna make playlists as I go, of the best. I like the best songs I could do. I'm not sure how I'm gonna make the playlist or how I'm gonna delegate it, but I'm gonna sort of save the best songs I find as I go along. I think, and I'm gonna have some sort of project along those lines. But again, that's enough for this song. But this song, Crown of Love, my favourite of the album. My favourite of the album by far. Okay, let's move into Wake Up, which is song number 7. Song number 7. Okay, cool. So, with Wake Up is our next song. This song has a hard job because it's following the best song on the album. So, it's hard to put it next to that. However, I like this song. It's a good standalone song. Definitely stronger than Kettles for me. There are certain words like the vocals in this again are I don't know what it is about his voice, but it's addicting. And the way he hits the word cry at the start of the song, and the sort of shouty, screamy bit where he's where was it? He's talking about turning like everything turning to rust, and then he says, "I guess we'll just have to adjust," and the adjust goes into the vocalization, the chorus, and that exquisite. I like also he's talking here, saying that we're just a million little gods causing rainstorms, turning everything good to rust, is what he says. And again, you can say it's a stretch, but I'm seeing the same sort of idea of the power in the human heart has gone off, in people just are not being good towards each other or towards the earth. They're just turning everything to shit, which is true in today's society. We still see that humans, we are these powerful beings that have the ability to create change, and consistently we use it to destroy. And again, this follows along the theme of like the war and death and whatnot that they touch on. Again, what I find impressive about the album as a whole is they really do stay on theme the whole way through. The whole album feels like an album. There isn't a song that's out of place, and I think that's impressive for an album. To be honest, this is newer for me to start listening to music as albums as a whole. I've always been very much, I find a song, it latches in my brain and I'll listen to that song over and over again. Or I find songs and I just curate songs that I like and I'll listen to the songs that I like. I've never really been one to go through album per album per album. So I'm enjoying the idea of doing this more and more now. And exploring how albums are built together and whatnot. But this, they really do a good job of sticking on theme, which is something that I struggle with, if you couldn't tell already. We're going to move on to the next song, which is called Haiti. I scanned over something that someone in the group has roots in Haiti or something along those lines. Don't quote me on it. Don't know. Don't remember. Gonna give it a listen. Okay, so Haiti, again, for me, I mean, largely because it's quite French, I don't particularly care for it, but I can see that if you understood it fully and felt it, it could be quite a beautiful song. I especially like how the music's very, very cheery. The music is very cheery. But the song is so obviously about death and pain and like a will for freedom and stuff like this. It's a complete contradiction in the song, and I really enjoy that. And this also is closed out by how cheery the whole song is until it ends with like an ambulance siren, or what I perceive as an ambulance siren, and it somehow melodically fits the music. It's the instruments they use are somewhat distressing also, kind of the whole way through. I would love to know what instruments they're using, but my ear is too very much too untrained. I don't know what music instruments they are, but they feel like a lot, but they also work with the song. But then it fades out to this ambulance sound, which obviously you ever hear an ambulance at the end of something, like you're worried, and they're talking about losing a lot of blood and bodies and whatnot. But going back to what I said about an album being an album, I love the fact that the end of this song has a drum beat start for the last couple of seconds, which leads directly into the next song, Rebellion Lies. Rebellion Lies. I fucking love when in an album a song leads directly into the next one without, like, you can't tell that there's a gap between the songs. But they are. I love that. I love that. Again, I was saying the French roots in Canada. This song, which I haven't mentioned, is the first, and I think the only, I'm pretty sure, yeah, it is the only female-led song, woman-led song in the whole album, by the wife, and what a voice! Beautiful, truly a beautiful voice. Yeah, I gotta say, for a song that I'm not too crazy about, it's produced very well. It fits the album perfectly. So I'm not mad at it. I don't particularly care for it, but I'm not mad at it. It's a good song. We'll move into the next one, Rebellion Lies. I don't know why I keep saying it as one word. It's brackets lies. It's rebellion. We'll call it Rebellion Lies. Okay. Rebellion. Again, this song is one I could take or leave. I particularly don't care for it, mainly because it's very repetitive, and that's not a problem. Music doesn't need to, like, you can have a lot of repetition in songs, and a lot of people can like that. And this is this would be a good standalone song, especially. It wouldn't need to be part of the album, but it fits in. But for me, I just don't particularly care about it. There is a lot of repetition on it. However, the vocals, again, beautiful. The backing vocals for the when he says lies, the la, yeah, that, lovely. Again, this is more rocky. The piano sort of offsets it a little bit, but it's like, it's more rocky than like Haiti's very vibey and whatnot, and this is more rock, back to the indie rock type of vibe, and it fits. It does its job. It's not a bad song. It's just nothing special to me. I just don't particularly care for it. So between this and Kettles are the two weakest for me. I'm not sure. I'm still deciding which one's lower for me. But those two I can very much take or leave. So we're gonna get on to In the Backseat, which is the final song of the album, and I remember I enjoyed this very well. I'm going for a piss. Okay, so, and then we've got In the Backseat. As I said at the start, with the album, impressive to have a good start and a good finish, and this is a fantastic finish to this album. This song is very, very good, and it hits hard. Like this is up there. This is up there, top 2, top 3 of the album. It's beautiful. The piano line in the back is gorgeous. The way the guitar comes in, or I think it's the guitar comes in when the lady starts singing Alice Died. It just, the timing of it coming in on that poignant line, and it just hits very hard. It's beautiful. I'm a big fan of this song. The string arrangement in it is fantastic the whole way through, and also I like this. You sort of get all the elements of it, because you get like the string arrangement throughout the song, and it makes it beautiful. There's that siren again. What did I tell you about them sirens? You get a beautiful string arrangement. You then get that reminder of that chaotic strings in there. Again, that's been in a couple of songs now. And then you, like, right at the end, they swap from, like, what's that called? I forget. They swap from, like, using the bow on the instrument to plucking the instrument. And it's pretty. This song also, it lets the music do a lot of the talking. It does a lot of the legwork for this song, and I like that. I like, especially for bands, like the vocals aren't everything. Like, there is the music to it, and it reminds you that, hey, you're listening to the music. Like, the song is important, the lyrics are important, but you're listening to the music, and it's good music. It's really well made. It's really well put together, and you can see how knowledgeable, like, there must be in the band of these instruments, because there's so many instruments in there which I can't pick out, but they just come together so well. And to do that the entire way through the album and finish with such a strong song, it's beautiful. The very rocky, like, you get that again. You get the very rock segment when we're going on about Alice dying, and then towards the end, and the vocalization at the end. Woof! What a beautiful voice she has. I'm telling you, when I learn to sing, it's game over, because I will not shut up. If I could sing like these people, I already don't shut. Hell, here we are. I've started my own podcast so I can yap away. I don't shut up as it is. If I could sing, are we joking? I'd be obnoxious. Maybe I shouldn't learn to sing, because it will actually be borderline insufferable. I'm gonna do it anyway, and you're gonna have to deal with it. So, grand. That's the entire album, back to front, that we've done now. We've looked through it, and I've got to say, when I came up with this idea, I was not expecting that number 500 on this list would get off to such a good start. Because I initially had the idea to make, like, a tier list, or make a worth a listen or not worth a listen kind of list about the albums and whatnot. But if we're starting at 500 and it's good, what's the point? Because surely the other 499 are going to be good. I look forward to if one disappoints me, though. I hope there's one on there that I'm like, what? I think that would be interesting for sure. I think that'd definitely be interesting. Anyway, that's the album. Done with that. So we'll leave that to the side now. I'm now going to give you my current hyperfixation song. And then I'm going to read you a poem that I wrote that was inspired by this album. Because I like poetry and I like to write things. So I think I'm going to try and end each podcast with a poem that I've written, or maybe that I like, but I'm thinking that I write about maybe it will be about the album, maybe it'll be something completely irrelevant, but we don't know that yet. As for my current hyperfixation song, it is "Die for You" by Isabel. What's her name? Isabel Van Gelder, I think her name is. Let me have a look. Have a little look-see here. Yes, Isabel Van Gelder. Sorry if I've said your name horribly. I believe I came across it on TikTok, which can just surprise you with some absolute bangers sometimes. And this song, "Die for You," I struggle for words. I've listened to it God knows how many times. Today I've listened to it 4 times. And I stood there looking at myself in the mirror trying to sing it well. But it's such a good song. It hurts. It's got that feeling in it. She's got a gorgeous voice. 100% worth a listen. If you're like me and you get fixated on songs, give that a listen. Especially, I love a sad song. I love a sad melodic song with a good voice. Can't beat it for me. As for my poem, all right, let me read it for you. So it's aptly titled "Funeral," just like the album was. And I've said, I'm a lucky man when it comes to loss. A cost so heavy, the removal of life, for me has been distant. I've seen loved ones go, but they've lived. To forgive the tide of time is easier, but loss of an infant. How cruel this world can be, and is. Just business feeds its into the massacre. Lives gone in an instant. I'm a lucky man when it comes to loss. A cost so heavy, taken so light. I'm a lucky man when it comes to loss. Let's find a way to help a man who's not. And that's where I left that. It was inspired on the idea of the same way they wrote about sort of thing, well, the same way that I've perceived that they've written about things that were going on in their time. I wrote largely around the fact that I've suffered loss. I've lost people that I love and care about, but for the most part, that I can think of, they've all been decently aged, and that doesn't mean it's not sad. That doesn't mean anything of the sort. But it's easier to go, well, that's life. You know, at some point it comes to an end. However, we have travesties going on, and Christ, I wish I knew all the countries that are having massive problems. Palestine, to name the one that everyone has their eyes on and needs change. But like the Congo and a bunch of other countries that Sudan, I believe, is having some terrible things, and there's wars bursting out all over the place. There's atrocities going on everywhere, and I am a lucky man in the sense that I've been placed purely by luck out of reach of a lot of those currently, and I think therefore at the end where I'm saying that like let's find a way to help out someone who's not, is that I feel like if we can somehow band together and make or pressure for change and all that kind of stuff, I think that we should do that, and that's where that poem came from. I didn't plan to explain my poem, but here we are, I guess. So yeah, that's kind of the end of it. I think that's the end of episode 1 of ZacharyTunes. This is an interesting experience. I've not done anything like this before, but I gotta say I enjoyed it. It's very much out of my comfort zone, but I put a decent amount of work into it. So I hope you enjoyed, and if you did enjoy, remember, like, comment, subscribe, come back, hit that little notification bell, and come back and, you know, watch the next one. Or I put out a lot of chess videos, watch some of them, or let me know what else you'd like to see. Anything, any sort of interaction is great, and I appreciate anyone that if you've managed to make it this far, definitely drop me a comment, or drop me a DM, or drop me anything. Let me know that you got this far into it. If you managed to get this far into the video, thank you very much for watching. I know no one asked for my opinion, but here I am giving it, and I'm glad that you stuck around to listen to it all anyway. So, that being said, I guess we'll see you in the next one. Hasta pronto, amigos. I know I got you.